It's a new season here at Miss Deborah's Tea Room. We're taking the tea room on the road, visiting tea rooms and other outstanding venues to show you what's available in your communities. We went to Laura, Maryland's Montpelier's Mansion, which specializes in teas and specialty events. It was built in 1783. This historic mansion hosted George and Martha Washington, Abigail Adams, and it's the perfect spot for our topic today, keeping an attitude of gratitude. We met with staff members Edna Graham and Holly Burton to talk about why we need a spirit of gratefulness all year long. People with grateful attitudes tend to be more joyful, cheerful, and healthier. Some researchers even say that writing a 5-minute journal entry each day can increase your long-term well-being by more than 10%, the same impact as doubling your income. Despite life challenges, whether it's the death of a loved one or a major disappointment, we can all find something or someone to appreciate. Let's hear what Edna had to say about it while we were at the mansion.
What are you grateful for?
My family, my family and friends. Life can get pretty stressful, and it's wonderful to have the friends who will be there and who will listen to you, and you don't have to go through the story each time. They'll just let you say your piece and then know that that's what you need, and then you can move on, and they're just there to listen.
So that's pretty good. You're grateful for relationships that are really, that
Most
you can
important.
touch and
Yes.
feel and
Most
be comfortable with and
I
connect
can
with.
live without anything else, or I could live without anything else, but without the relationships,
That's
I would be truly lost.
That's awesome. I love that. And that's why it's important that you get that group of people together at some point and have tea so that we can slow down and appreciate those people. So
Joining me in the studio is author and motivational speaker Valerie Love. She says gratitude is one of her favorite topics. Welcome to Miss Deborah's Tea Room.
Thank you so much, Miss Deborah. Thank you for having me back.
Absolutely.
I always love coming here.
Well, fantastic. Well, I love to talk about gratitude. In spite of life's challenges this year, I am so grateful. And so I want you to tell me what your definition of gratefulness is. What does that look like?
For me, it's an inner experience of thankfulness. Thankfulness, appreciation, and the second I step into gratitude, joy comes.
Oh, that's good.
So when you said
That's
earlier,
good.
you know, gratitude leads to joy,
Yes,
it's true.
absolutely.
It just opens the heart to joy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So realizing that there are some people who just may not understand what we're talking about, and you have to really break it down. So if I'm having some challenges right now and going into this season, it just doesn't look promising or joyful or any of those things, how can I shift? How can I transition to this place of feeling and having the joy of the gratitude? How does that help me do that?
That's an excellent question. I can share my experience. I had a deep, deep depression, and the depression was so bad that I didn't want to get out of bed. You know, those kinds of experiences where the curtains are drawn,
Yes.
and it's just dark everywhere. And it was a hard, challenging time in life. So I was watching TV one day, a show like yours. It was called Oprah. Have you heard of it?
Oh, we have
You've heard of her show?
her. Okay.
So she was having a show, and she was talking to an author.
Yeah.
And the author was the author of Simple Abundance. A
Oh,
book called
yes,
Simple
yes, yes,
Abundance.
yes,
Do you
yes,
love
yes,
her?
yes,
Oh
I
my
love her.
goodness, I love her. So I bought the book, and they said, all you have to do is every night before going to bed, write 5 simple statements of gratitude.
Wow.
Every night.
Wow.
And here I am depressed, and I have 2 kids, I have a baby, I have the toddler, and my hair standing on my head.
Yes, absolutely.
Life is just crazy. It was looking really bad. It was a very low point.
And so, like we said earlier, that journaling piece makes a difference. Most people feel like that's such a burden, or I'm so ready to get to bed, or I don't feel like it. But you are saying, for you, when you were in that situation, the journaling piece really helped to kind of get you up.
It did, because I watched them on television, and you know, sometimes you don't believe everything people say on television.
Exactly.
So I watched them.
But they're going to believe what's on Miss Deborah's TV.
Oh, that's right. They're believing what we're talking about, because what we're talking about is real. We have done it.
Right. Exactly. Okay, good.
So they said, do it. It'll change your life. You've got to give it a try. And I said, you know, I'm sitting there, and I said, well, okay, I'm going to give it a try.
Right.
And so the first night I almost forgot the first night. Finally got my journal and just wrote 5 things, just scribbled 5 things down on a little piece of paper next to the bed before I went to bed. And I noticed there was like a little tingling. I felt a little bit better.
That's good.
Yeah, isn't that good?
Just a little bit of tingling.
Right, a little something
So
was
as a
happening.
takeaway, we need to say to anyone who is a little bit down that let's start writing down maybe just 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for at night, and that may help you begin to see the sun behind the clouds. Is that fair enough?
Yes. I love how you put that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it doesn't all just fall into place instantaneously.
It doesn't.
It's a process,
It
right?
doesn't, because it's actually, not only is it a process, you have to look at it as a form of shifting. You have to shift from that place of being down or depressed or whatever, and you generally need some tools to shift. And one of the things that you talked about right now, which we're going to talk about even later in the show, are some of the tools that we can use to shift to this place of gratefulness. So one of the things, for example, that I love, I was in the line at a particular store here, and I was at the drive-in window. And I really was, you know, going in the glove compartment, getting my quarters to make sure I had enough to cover this. And when I got to the window, she said, "The person before you paid for it."
Ah.
That, you know, it made me, I mean, I really felt special.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I kind of really felt that you didn't know my circumstance, my situation, but you were just a human being that cared enough about the person behind you to bless them that day.
Wow.
And so,
That is wonderful.
I think that's another takeaway, that, you know, do something to, if you can't pay for their lunch, and the thing that I liked about what they did, they were anonymous. I really didn't pay them really any attention until she said they paid for it, and they were gone.
And they were gone. That's the best kind of giving.
Absolutely.
That's the best kind of
Can
giving.
you imagine how they felt?
I can imagine how they felt a little, because Ms. Deborah, you telling me this story is giving me an answer to a puzzle.
Wow.
You want to know what it was?
Yes.
Day before yesterday, I'm in Target, and the lady before me, she's standing there, and she's about to pay, and something said pay for her groceries.
Wow.
And it wasn't a huge amount of money. Said pay for her groceries, and you know, sometimes when you get those little intuitive nudges, it's the logical mind wants to step in and say, well, why
Are
would
you
do
sure?
that?
Are you sure?
Right, the little mind chatter.
Right.
And I ignored the mind chatter, and I said to the attendant that was helping us, I said, I'll take care of her grogroceries.
Wow.
And she turned and looked at me.
Wow.
She was shocked.
Yeah, wow.
And he said, okay, well, I'll just ring it up together. And he was such an angel. He rung it together.
That
and
was so
I tell you, she said, the look in her eyes and on her face.
Said it all.
And Miss Deborah, you would have thought when I walked out of that Target, I was so lit up with goosebumps. You would have thought I won the lottery. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful to have been able to do that.
Now that's major. That's where the real gratefulness comes in. You know what I mean? It really does come in when you're able to do something for somebody, and that you don't have to make people jump through all of these hoops to be able to get your kindness. That's not what it's about.
That's
you know,
right.
it's just being able to share what you have, and sometimes it's not a lot.
Sometimes it's not, and not a lot is required.
Absolutely.
Just whatever is you feel led to do in the moment, whether you know the
Absolutely.
person or don't know the person.
And it's even better sometimes when you don't know the person. I'm looking so forward to really trying to come up with some takeaways for our audience so that they will be able to know that they can join in this season of gratefulness.
Absolutely.
We'll talk more on the topic of gratefulness when we come back. Yes.